All right, we're at the beginning.
Okay.
All right.
So we start with Bitsy's Dwarf deck versus Mago's Mirror Tech Squirtle. It's going to be a really interesting matchup. I mean, like Vishra said, the one thing it's going to come down to is Mago not having the Igni. The Igni is extremely valuable here. Now we see Vitsy starting out with the War Dancer and the Saskia. Presumably he kicks the Saskia and probably ducks out if there's no Roach.
Yeah,
he's got the skirmishers. The skirmishers are going to pay off in this matchup. The skirmishers are very much teched for Skellige because being able to control some of their cards can give you a lot of value.
Yeah, you may make a case for, he actually replaces one of the, and he draws into the third Macam defender there, as we do see the Savage Bear, which can actually lead to, quite a bit of value and enhance or label those shield metas there from picking off the Macam defenders early on. It's obviously very important for him to be able to deal with those resilient units before they get overly buffed. This is going to be very interesting because both decks obviously rely on their carryover strength, but Dwarves can do that much better than Skellige. So it's, we'll tend to see Dwarves at this high level of play. So I'm very intrigued for this match as well.
Yeah. I mean, basically the question is, can the Dwarf player win round one? Right now, Bitsy's hand is looking very good for that. We've got all the silver cards we need. We've got Barclay Elves, which is very high value. We've got Ithlin to just take over the round completely with the Thunderbolt Potion. He can put a really obscene amount of pressure into round one, but the question is, I mean, because if the Dwarf player can't win round one or can't force a really good advantage, then it becomes really, really difficult for Bitsy here.
The problem is Bitsy can't disrupt that Wallboard of the Sea there, unlike the Nilfgaard matchup, and that's definitely going to come into play here because the longer, especially like the Dwarf deck wants to have a very long round, so that's going to benefit the Wallboard of the Sea strategy there, as he has no way to interfere with it, even though he has a lot of buffing mechanisms here, though, too. And that Ithlin is definitely going to be a very strong swing. That Savage Bear, though, can stack up a lot of damage. And we see no reactive cards whatsoever in Bitsy's hand, so he can't really answer it. He's going to have to take 1 damage for every single one of the units that he develops here. Yep,
basically. And we've got, Bitsy has the option of the Broover into the Dennis Cranmer just to push out round one further. I mean, it all just comes down to who wins round one in this matchup. That's going to be the biggest thing, because like you said, the Wild Boar is buffing up the Morkvarg, giving Mago a round 3 that Bitsy just does not have.
Yeah. Like, he has, the thing is, if you don't win round 1 with this deck, all that resilience is for naught. Like, it's just, there's nothing you can, it's not going to benefit you in any way. So it's tough because he has like 3 Macam defenders in his hand. I don't think that's something that you want here. Yep. Like, that's too much. That's too much.
He might be going for the 1 in 5 Dennis Cranmer by playing the Barclay. The Barclay, before anything else, before the Broover or anything, is trying. If he can find the Dennis Cranmer off that Barclay, then what he can do is he can use his Broover for something like Olgierd instead and just free him up that option.
Do you know why he didn't lead off with? Do you think he's preserving Jarpin's Zinger potentially for round 2? If he sees that he's not going to be able to win one, yeah, that's definitely not why he didn't lead off with that.
Yeah,
there goes the Wallboard of the Sea.
Yeah, Bitsy has a hand that's a little too. It is almost too reliant on all of these carryover tools. Here we have the Ithlin.
Nice, disrupting.
We are probably going to see the decoy coming down from Mago, hitting the Morkvarg and bouncing it right where it belongs. And he knows that Ithlin is the only disruption tool that Bitsy has here. So
it's funny that he uses it. Like, that's the first time I see Ithlin used to disrupt the Wallboard of the Sea. That's pretty. It's pretty nice, actually. We see the double, very early Ithlin just because of that, buffing up that Macam defender up to 18 strength. As we're talking about the lack of reactiveness, barring the Dwarven Skirmisher in the hand of Bitsy, but it's not like Mago, as you said prior, he's not running Geralt Igni, so he doesn't have many real ways to deal with that. Very, very interesting pass.
Yep. Yeah, so Bitsy's been playing for tempo. He knows that he can't win round 1 if he just commits slowly and lets Mago build up steam. So he plays to get out of the round as early as possible, using Ithlin to block the Wild Boar. Mago, of course, does have the Renew to get back the Wild Boar to, in a small way, punish Bitsy for going deep into this round. But at this point, given the long round 2, the Dwarf player is going to win here in terms of his round 3 power. Absolutely. because the dwarfs excel so much at putting power into the next round, whereas Mago's carryover is all about the future rounds. So
I'm just trying to understand that pass. It was because he was really far behind, right? Because he did have the decoy play there to continue to buff Morkbark, but it was just too far. Like that was a tremendous lead that he did with that early S lane. He had no way to kind of like catch up to that. So that's super devastating.
And that's a large part of the reason he wasn't playing Yarpen. It's honestly less about keeping the carryover in round 2 and more about just wanting to play as quickly as possible out of that round. Just surge ahead in tempo while the Skellige player is setting up to generate a good pass.
Very nicely done by Bitsy here. Very, very, wow. I'm very impressed, actually, the fact that he was able to put him in that spot there with that early S-lane. Because that's a card that you're so used to, like, preserving for the very end for that huge swing, And the fact that he got it early on in there and put him in that spot was, that was great. That was actually fantastic. As we see Bitsy being able to build up to 39 strength right off the bat, buffing up the Macam defender after taking a hit, as these Borkbar hunters are hitting at him, but they're just not hitting hard enough.
Yep. It's they're unable to kill the defenders, which is pretty great for Bitsy here. He's got one Thunder Potion to be used on 2 of them in the melee row. He's got one Skirmisher coming out from the rally, which doesn't do much as well. But the Shield Maidens are actually going to be able to take down one of the defenders, which is definitely going to hurt Bitsy's ability to carry over value here. And his tempo is in a pretty bad spot, too. He's probably not going to be able to generate... to force Mago a card down after the pass, since he's going to be committing with the low tempo Siri here.
It seems like we are going to see that Bruberhook pull out at the old geared later down the line as he drops Siri. But he's still...
Bitsy's play is basically just to go as deep as possible for this round.
Yeah.
But Mago's deck is very, very good against this. I mean, Mago has the Olgierd tech, which is something that most Skellige players aren't using right now, but it's very, very powerful for these scenarios where you're just trying to shove value into the next round.
And placing that Olgierd next to that. Yeah, yes. I like the fact that he put it right next to the wall board in case Morkbark would get locked by any means.
Yeah.
He's kind of like transferring that building up, that strength that he's building up, as we see Olgierd from Bitsy himself pushing on to 74, 15-point lead. Actually 12. Look at all those pingings and all those Borkbar hunters. I think at this point we may very well see the Borkbar hunter there. That happened before actually they disappeared from the hand. Actually, first, the pass is there, and he's gonna be able to get one card over his opponent, but it may seem like the Skellige player is going to translate more strength in the end.
Yeah, I mean, the Olgierd is going to be at 10 points, and the Morkvarg is also going to be at 10. So it's 10 each on top of Bitsy's Yarpen and his Macam defender at 4. So it's going to be... No. Mago has it by 1 point. Oh,
and he decoys Morkvarg. Yeah, nice play there.
So Mago has it by 4 points, I believe.
Battle of the resiliency right here in the finals, as it turns out Skellige got beat Thors in that. Interesting. And him preserving I always forget Dennis Kremer. There we go. That Dennis Kremer for like the very late game actually, which is very funny. If you think about it.
There's just no window to play it. He had to play very, very high tempo.
Ooh, there's Igni.
But it's blocked by the Morkvarg. That's just gonna be. It's gonna be really, really hard for him to beat this. I mean, Coral has it's a very good amount of value on the melee row after the Dennis Cranmer comes down, and the rally is just gonna hit a skirmisher, which isn't so great.
Even though Bitsy does have one card over his opponent, it may seem like he's gonna get overpowered here, especially after this huge resurrection. Getting that Borkvarg Hunter in there and hitting, obviously targeting the siege row, as he does expect the melee row to be more stacked for Coral, and he's going to damage the Jumper Zinger there with the Borkvarg Hunter. Now, the only hope Bitsy has at this point is for him to be able to stack enough damage. Like him, if he for some reason puts the Coral in the siege row and stacks it up to 20, he could Igni that. But otherwise, it's looking very grim, and I think Mago is not going to let that happen.
Nah, it'll be a bear on the... It'll be in the range draw or something, yeah. He's not playing into Igni, he's not giving Bitsy that out, and it looks like game 1. unless there is something here that I'm not seeing that Bitsy has an out with.
Very impressive considering like that first round that he got on him with that Aethelene, but I guess he kind of gassed himself out. And at the same time, Mago just that renew into the Wallboard of the Sea was absolutely perfect. It enabled him to really capitalize on his strategy, which was prolonging the round, as you said, and he just stacked so much strength and actually was able to outmuscle the dwarves and basically he beat him at his own game here.
Yep,
with the carryover strengths.
Yep. It was very, very awkward for Bitsy. I mean, being forced to drop the Aethelene in round 1. I mean, he did take round 1 with it, and it did generate him a lot of value. But just being forced to it's really, really limiting to what you can do.
Tight game though, only a nine straight difference. Very very close by both players. But Mago coming out on top and taking the first game, moving on to 1-0, and getting that win with Skellige. Let's see what they bring in round 2.
Okay, so we go to round 2. We see Mago's Nilfgaard deck. Again, this is the one with the Daelur and Foot Soldiers and the Siri Dash versus Bitsy's Weather Monster list. Now, Mago on Nilfgaard is going to have the tools. We can see here he does not actually start with any of his clears. He does not start with Standard Bearers or Van Hemar, and he's wanting them in this matchup. He's looking for them, not finding one. He has to kick the Roach here. And he's
trying to a lot of power though.
He has to hope, and he's running a 3 Standard Bearer list, and he didn't get a single one of them. He has to absolutely.
Oh, Pribble! Oh my God!
Hope.
Look at this!
Oh God! Wow!
Oh no! Oh, he's stuck with Roach then. I mean, I guess you keep Roach here, or you can make a case for the Foglet too.
Well, but the Foglet blacklist, it's the most important one to kick. I think.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Just because it means you don't draw anymore. That's the biggest deal.
Very
so,
true,
I mean, pretty awkward hands on both ends. Like, while it is true that Bitsy does have the redundant Roach and Mago doesn't have anything that, like, redundant, Mago has... his deck is pretty weak to weather if he can't find a way to be able to pull one. He needs to have his Avalak be drawing him into the weather clears here.
He can lead off with a pikeman here, and he does have the alchemist, which are going to draw him technically 2 cards. And even though if he puts all that strength on the board, he's not able to answer weather immediately, like you said, he's definitely in trouble. But it looks like his hand can lead to very good things, especially with Siri Dash being able to be dropped up round 1, and Avalok, after he plays the alchemist. Obviously, he needs to sequence this properly. I think he needs to try to make it so that he's going to be kind of forced he can actually play Siri Dash next turn, and then go for Calvé to have the pikeman pull out one of the Alba pikemen out of the deck, so you have more of a chance of not picking those up as he...
This would also pull Roach out of the deck, too, so it gives Calvé double value in that way. Yeah, that's probably the play here, assuming that the pikeman doesn't get pressured, which, of course, we know it won't. So here's the Siri Dash, just like you said, giving the Alba pikeman. He wants to press the Calvé as early as possible. He needs to do that before playing the Alchemist and drawing more cards, or the Avalak and drawing more cards. And he's just buying 1 turn with the Siri Dash to make the Calvé a little better.
Now the question is, what do you do here as Bitsy? What do you go for? Do you go for the Fog? He's Frightener right there.
He's interested in Frightener. Honestly, it's a pretty awkward hand. You can start fogging the
Sidra, right? To hit the pikeman?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he knows the deck though as well. But he's going for that Sidra, and the pikeman will pull out before the weather actually ticks, which means both of them will get hurt by it. But on the other hand, that means that in 2 turns from now, the pikeman again will pull out before weather, which means assuming everything goes the same, the 1-strength pikeman right before the weather kills it will pull the 5-strength pikeman to protect it.
Yeah, good point there. But he does get Albrick, which will block those further damage onto them for now as he draws into Tibor. All of his golds are lined up. Now Mago just needs to draw into his weather clear. As you said, he's running triple bear. So
it just looks like a bad hand for Bitsy here. I mean, drawing the additional crone, having no ways to pressure this round apart from just putting more weathers down, no opening to Frightener here, not enough tempo generated. It's looking awkward. The Wyvern will hit the Brave trigger, and he can even kill the Alba pikeman at that point. It looks like he is...
Why is he targeting the Sidra, though?
He wants to... I'm not actually 100% sure. But I mean, either way, it looks like he's planning to get out of this round. I mean, so Mago knows very specifically that the Albrick drew that crone, right? Which means if Bitsy started with any crone, then Bitsy's got 2 crones. In Mago's mind right now, the odds of Bitsy having a redundant crone is pretty high, even after only seeing the one that he drew him later. Which means that it's possible that it's hard to bluff him, but it looks like Mago's staying in this round regardless. Bitsy's just taking that one card that he can get out here, and Mago's going to pull that last pikeman out before he takes the round 1 card down, going into the next round.
Smart pass there by Bitsy. There's no way he can catch up at that point. At least he goes with 1 card.
But the hand is awkward. I mean, he was able to thin the foglets out, which is incredibly important. But, like, imagine if he draws his 3rd crone going into this hand.
That would be devastating.
And he's drawing 3 cards. But even if he doesn't, he's still got dead cards. It's not over yet. He's got 1 kick. You can still draw the crone.
Right. The question is, you gotta. What do you replace here, though? The crone or roach? Like, what do you go for? Oh, you go in for the crone there. All right.
Yeah.
Still, I guess preserving. He can preserve roach for the last round. Like, you're gonna preserve 1 gold, so you preserve that. That's the best switch. But the problem is, if you top deck a crone for round 3, you're kind of stuck. With. I mean, I guess you replace roach regardless, but it kind of like nullifies your draw.
You have 2 grabs for it because you need to be able to replace roach, and you're drawing a card as well. So 2 grabs for 2 crones, which don't blacklist.
This deck from Mago, one of the highlights for me from this event, really. I really like it. It's such an unique build, and I honestly had never seen it before, as he is picking up those Nausicaa Standard Bearers there to be able to combat the weather, and, he's drawn them at quite the proper time here.
Yep. And one of the largest weaknesses of Mago's deck, and the reason that you don't see it very much on ladder, is because it has a really, really rough time against Skellige, but these tournament formats where you can ban off just a single matchup like that can really help these diverse decks to strive.
Yeah, it opens up to very interesting builds too. I'm definitely liking this format. It's definitely living up to its hype in my eyes.
Oh yeah.
There goes the second Celestial Harpy. These Celestial Harpies in round 2 are super key. Right now he's
hovering that Avlak. Here come the crones.
Oh no. Okay, Water Hag. Oh god no. Rip.
Oh, yeah. And this is just a risky run by running these crones. Like, they can be very powerful in huge tempo ways, but not only it's not even right now that they cost you the silver slots. That's their biggest downside, but this can happen and does happen in some games.
Let's start playing Avalok a lot more.
Yeah.
There goes Vehemar. Yep. There's an interesting. That's one of his resources to clear weather, but he does have 2 more bears in his hand, so I guess it's definitely justified here to complete the 9 that carry over strength for round 3. That Vehemar seemed pretty key there, especially you could make a case for preserving him for later down the line, but that would reduce his accuracy over the eggs, which is why he used them there, because he doesn't intend on winning this round anyways. As long as he can stay somewhat ahead of him, he's fine. So I really like that Vehemar there. I think it was very well timed. Yeah. By Mago.
One thing you'll note about this matchup is that Mago's deck thins itself a lot. It is a self-thin, sometimes even an opponent mill deck, and there is kind of one problem with that. And he does have the Asir to put some cards back into his deck, but if he's not careful, it is actually possible that Bitsy could caretaker his Albrick and mill Mago out of a card. Like, for example, that's a possibility right now. That's it. That's the window.
Right now.
This is his window to do that before the Asir comes out.
He's going to do it, I think.
He sees
he's
it.
Looking at it. Oh, yeah, he's going to do it. Go. You have to.
Yeah, that's it.
You get the advantage here. You get +1 card advantage and tempo at the same time.
If you wait, the window closes because the Asir will come down and put cards back in the deck.
Oh, go for it. Go for it, dude. Like, it's a 13 strength play that draws you a card. Like, that's insane. He's going for it.
There it goes.
He's going for it.
Perfect.
Wow. Yeah. Key. That was beautiful. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he definitely sees it. I mean, he made it. Oh, God. What? Oh, no. I can see just playing them now, right?
Oh, that's his mulligan in round 3. He's... Oh, God. Oh, oh.
If only he had Karen, at least he could eat them. I don't know, man. Like,
he has to play the...
Oh my God.
That's so
feels
bad.
so bad.
I mean, he can play one crone here. The problem with one crone, and part of the reason why he might have used Roach first, is one crone is a tell that his other two crones are in hand. Like, he could effectively be... It's possible Mago could see that he has 3 crones in hand if he plays one, and then just push this round.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if he plays one of the crones and he sees the other two don't spawn, then that automatically gives... your opponent the information. You have the other two, and you're like, well, hey, maybe I can push him because he doesn't have that 20 strength swinging one card. It's divided into 3 right now, so I could actually potentially 2-0 him even, or I can make him, go into the deep waters, which is not something that a Dagon player wants, especially when they have Caranthur in hand. Caranthur is a card that thrives over the past few turns, and he's going to play it now, actually.
I mean,
how's he going to win round 3, though?
Well, it's even more awkward because Caranthur can't even really offer anything in round 3, and that's why he's playing it now. Not that the crones offer very much in round 3 either. But, I mean, he knows that round 3 is going to consist basically of these gold bodies. He knows that Siri Dash is going to come back. He knows there's going to be a Tibor. And the Caranthur Caranthur is a very, very powerful card, but it can only really achieve that value if the round has gone on at least like 5 turns, even if there were non-gold bodies to hit.
I like how he aimed for the Caesar there, completely acknowledging the fact that if his opponent is going to want to draw any cards, he must have Azir in his hand. So I like that play from Bitsy there, instead of moving them for the Melibra, for example. As this is definitely going to warrant the usage of Dagon here, I think, because you want to make sure that your opponent can't. Like, at the same time, like, what's your game plan here as Bitsy? Because
the power from Dagon is necessary. You just have to play a crone here. He needs every amount of power he can get for the next round. He needs the foglets. He has no chance to draw into anything that gives him foglets.
He knows he has the crows and he passes there. Yeah. Oh, but he does so before he plays Azir. So I don't know. Never mind. Siri dashes his draw. Never mind. Yeah, derp there.
So we're gonna see a crone get kicked back here. But what is he looking to draw? I mean, Wyvern could give him points on the Asir, but at the same time, the Asir is being blocked by the Villain Treadmirth. And more importantly, I mean, how does Mago play this? Does he open with Villain Treadmirth? He's got his own Asir being scorched, which is very awkward.
Why did he not replace one of the crones there? I don't understand. Like, he was gonna pull it out from the deck anyways, right?
Wait,
he replaced the Wyvern instead.
He replaced the Wyvern instead?
Yeah. Why do you do this?
I can't. I don't know. Okay, but yeah, I mean, he's got the bear, but the Villain Treadmirth is going to come down.
This is so lost, man. Like, he's got Siri Dash, Tibor, and
there's just no way to come back from this. The Savage Bear, the Blood Curdling Roar is really only going to do so much. It's basically, I mean, it lines up for Villain Treadmirth, which means it's offering basically 0 or negative value. You can use it on a Foglet, but that Foglet's not coming back. And just protecting a Bruas basically means the Blood Curdling Roar achieves 6 value, the Archgriffin achieves 7. And the Dagon's a 15 or a 13 off the Foglets coming out, but it's just not going to be enough.
It's so hopeless right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And he could draw the Drowner here off the Tibor, but it's just not going to be enough. Like this finisher of Mago's deck is one of the most powerful things in the game. The fact
especially
that you have
with the Siri Dash that you can play like 3 rounds.
Absolutely. The Siri Dash plus the Tibor is 40 points of gold value in 2 cards. Oh, absolutely ridiculous.
Like, the only way he could potentially combat it if he was like Demeritum Shackles or something to kind of like take away the power from Tibor, but we see that he has none of that in his deck. He just has pretty straightforward bronzes left, as it's just going to be, this is a case of small numbers versus huge, like not big, but huge numbers. And there's just nothing. Like, he doesn't even care about his own board triggering at this point. He can just completely outmuscle him here, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mago's basically making the play, which is Bork triggers if Bitsy plays all of his cards, right?
I like that. I like that. Very, very methodical and just a very dominant performance overall by Mago here this game.
You gotta see the fog has to come out in a whoa, he's fogging the Asira.
Interesting.
Figured he would leave the Assyria at higher strength so it gets scorched by the Bork. But it's I mean, how do you beat this? The Wyvern is kind of cute. It can pop for 11, but you're always going to lose 15 off the Bork going off if you want to proceed. And you're going to lose even more because the Savage Bear is going to come out because it has to.
If you play the Bloodcooling Roar though onto one of the Foglets, it's just going to eat the
Yep. Exactly.
I guess you kind of mitigate a little bit of damage that way, really, if you think about it. But that's just not even after putting all the strength on the board is it enough?
Yeah, not even without.
You get burnt anyways. Wow, just completely dominated here by Mago. This deck just, as you said, without having to worry about Skellige, this deck is scary actually. Like how efficiently he ran through his entire deck. That's insane.
Okay, so we are going to game 3 here in the series. Mago is up 2-0 right now, and we are seeing. Didn't actually get the chance to check what the matchup was on this. It started too quickly. Did you?
I saw. I think we have the same matchup actually. I thought his opponent. I think I saw Nilfgaard as well.
Okay.
Hey, don't quote me on that.
So this is going to be Mago's monsters deck with the Tecton, Earth Elemental, and Yennefer that we've seen. Very potent, very swarm heavy, and there's not going to be any of those Savage Bears this time.
Yeah.
Did he just mute him?
40 value. I don't know. I think he did. But definitely, as you said, this could be the last game of the finals, because if Mago does win this one as well,
yes,
he will have a 3-0 victory in the finals of this game, which would be very impressive. As we see a turn 1 Calvate, giving him an Emissary, which is clearly the pull he's going to go with, aiming for the Caesaro for the Emissary, as he does pull the Rot Tosser from that. And maybe, I like that, threatening the carryover right off the bat. Smart.
So, I mean, Bitsy's got a very dominant hand. He's got all of his high power golds. He's got his gold. He's got his Rainfarn pulling his Cantarella for the huge tempo play attached to the card draw, which is it's an incredible combo. It's a large part of the reason why Rainfarn is very good. The Ragnarok is going to have a hard time hitting for an incredible amount of value in this matchup, especially if Mago is able to clear it. We'll have to see if he uses his Water Hag greedily for a Rain or a Lacerate, or if he... No, that's not it.
There goes the Seismic Elemental. I really like this pre, by the way. That's really cool. As the Rot Tosser, the Cockroach triggers off and gets rid of the eggs, basically denying the carryover at the expense of giving the opponent a little bit of tempo for the current round. As it is Bitsy's turn, and this is a good turn to drop an Imperial Brigade. I like that.
I mean, we've just got a very dominant hand from Bitsy. This hand is basically perfect. It's got all of the tools he wants. He won the coin flip, plus he's got the Siri, and he's got the ways to slow the game down with Rainfarn into Cantarella.
The only main issue is weather potentially, but that Imperial Brigade could sponge all the damage from the fog by just playing spies over and over again, especially considering the fact that he has emissaries and... He goes, oh, nice. This will also stall out a turn from the fog as well because of the 2 armor there. Yep. And, God, he's got so much power. Like you said, like all the golds. And also, like, his remaining hand is just pure golds and silvers. And really good ones at that for this precise matchup as well.
Yeah, and you know if he sees a Water Hag come out, he might just go for the Ragnarok. He's holding off on it for now because I mean you generally hold off on your gold weather until you get more of a window to use it, where it's more likely that they won't have a clear for it, or in a round where it can put more pressure on.
It seems like he's gonna go for it now because he could bait the Lacerate from the Water Hag, but he goes for it now as he does. Get 6 value, not 9 out of it due to the shield, and we see the Water Hog being dropped immediately. I mean, there's no other play right there. You have to deny that insane value going on. As Bitsy's not in a bad situation though, because even though he got his weather denied, he still has so much power left in his hand. His opponent has not been able to generate any sort of like massive advantage over them. And this Cantarella with the aid of the that's great. And think of a Rot Tosser, that's not bad.
Rot Tosser is pretty solid here, and he's very afraid for Roach. He wants Emissary more, but he's going to go with a Rot Tosser just because it's the safe call. Electing to play Cantarella that turn to bump his Impera Brigade outside of the range where 2 units are getting hit by the same fog.
Oh man, this is a tough situation for Mago here. because you don't really have a clear target. I mean, yeah, I guess you can play the Blood Curdling Roar, but that's a resource that you're losing potentially for the Ratos, even though he has another one in his hand. But there's a certain point in which he's going to have to be very wary of what to do, because you don't want to go with your Crones in round 1. But at the same time, you have Siri in your hand, so you kind of... he's putting him against the fence here. Like, right now, he's 2 cards above him, and he's only 13 points behind.
Yeah. And as Bitsy, you're generally not expecting the second Blood Curdling Roar here as well. He's going to elect to play the Joachim de Wet instead, playing the Van Heemar. Probably expect a huge Stammelfords here. Very, very powerful finisher on Van Heemar, honestly. Being able to Stammelfords late is just great.
That was incredible. Getting 13 strength ahead of your opponent when you have 1 card above them. He's forcing the Crones out round 1. Oh, yeah, that feels bad. Force.
Absolutely.
Oh, that feels terrible. There's only like 9 points in the lead.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot he can do here. I mean, if he raw tosses, he can block a second play off the Brigade. He can Kahir for tempo and just see what he finds. Looking for it.
He's going for the kill. He's
the Emissary shows him the Brigade and the Tosser.
Yeah.
And he chooses the second Brigade.
Oh, that's so strong.
Protects from Frost a little bit more. He's looking to force Mago out of this round completely. But he might be... Could be very, very close. I mean, we do have the Gales, and the Gales represents a pretty major wild card. At this point, now that the Crones are out, the Gales represents a huge amount of value potentially. Like, the board is very stacked on both ends. Normally something like Yennefer is very powerful. It's a little redundant of a situation for Woodland Spirit, although pulling the Foglets back is still huge value if he does want to push for this round.
Yeah, setting up the Raw Tosser in the Siege row right there, threatening for a total of 6 points after, which, like, at this point, you have, if you want to win this round, you have to play Gels.
Yep, absolutely.
He does play Gels, and let's see what he picks up.
Yeah. We've even got Bitsy's Peter threatening to hit the Brewess down to 5, which, depending on if he thinks that Mago has an answer to that, provides Calcrakis with a second target to kill as well. And he knows that he's not going to get that much more value out of Peter in this matchup. I mean, you can use it on your own Nilf Knight to heal it a little bit more, but apart from that, it's not a card that presents an amazing amount of value in this particular matchup.
Yeah, I think buffing Approach is definitely a very good idea. Getting that extra strength out of there, especially knowing that you have Azir and the gold in your hand, but that's the last gold you have as well. Yep. Like he's gone all in here, which is important to know. Like,
there's that Woodland Spirit. He's resummoning those Foglets, putting that pressure on, and is there enough tools in Bitsy's hand to be able to take this? I mean, the Calcarcus is getting blocked by all those Foglets now, and we have not seen the Siri come from either player at this point. Is this where we see Bitsy's Siri to potentially try to bait out one more card? Because this fog has kind of a limited application. It's hitting, there's the Siri, it's hitting 3 units every turn, which isn't bad, but the Calcarcus is immediately killing off all these Foglets. We're going to see Mago pass here without playing his own Siri. And does Bitsy have a great way to take this in a single card? He's losing 6 points there. He should be able to do this.
He can Peter into the Knight.
He has Peter into Knight, and then they lose 4 points. So it's a 7-point play? That'll do it by 1 point.
Yep. Wow, clutch actually.
Yep.
I think he's definitely going. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you go for it. Like, you definitely want to take this round in a clean card state. No, he's passing. Wait.
Yeah, he's thinking about it. It's card advantage. He is getting the Siri back. It is a consideration.
Okay, he goes for it. Right, 3-1. 3 cards to 1, as both players will draw. And it'll be 5. Well, he does have to carry over strength, though. He's got to be careful. But
and he is enabling Mago's Siri by doing this at the same time.
He does have Azir plus his own. Like, that Siri is worth more than just 7 strength here. It can be a way to pull Roach back out after he plays Azir. So it's not a bad decision there. Also, that Vicar of our Medic is a very nice pull, as he can resurrect one of the Seleno Harpies and get some carryover strength the next round. But Mago has the perfect hand for this scenario right here with Siri and the Frightener at his disposal.
And Bitsy just doesn't have a great way to be able to catch up in a single card. The way he has is Vico Medic into the Bear. He's looking at it now. If he wants to be able to stay ahead, that's his play. He could alternatively play something slower, and then if Mago were to pass, he could Vico Varo a Seleno Harpy as an 8-point play to be able to put value into next round as well. Value into next round can be valuable because he knows that Mago list runs Yennefer. I mean, if you are running these Earth Elementals, presumably you are running Yennefer. So being able to put units on your own board to lower the value from Yennefer is potentially very valuable.
I like that Ratos would lead there. He was basically thinking, you know what, I'll sacrifice that. Yeah, he's going for the Seleno Harpy. He's going for the carryover strength, and I think that's a very wise decision. He still has another Vigor Medic, is that correct?
Yes.
So he can fish for that.
He does not. It's just one Imperial Brigade.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I had a bit of a brain fart there. He can use Azir here to return it though.
And Mago's always going to draw this one out. So he's playing the Seleno Harpy, and he'll either play the Earth Elemental or mulligan it back into his deck because he's obviously not going to want that for round 3. We could see the Peter here just denying one of those eggs. That's probably the most likely play, unless he wants to do something with Azir here.
The thing is, Mago's in a awkward position here because he can't play that Seismic Elemental. Because it would just basically, like, he's not going to be able to catch up at this point. It's his last remaining card, and it only provides him with 6 friends. So after his Peter is played, like, there's no point in playing that, even if
Mago is absolutely going to have to pass. That's why he elected to play the Seleno Harpy over the Earth Elemental, because he knew he could only play one of them, and he wanted to mulligan the other one, and the Seleno Harpy is just the superior card in terms of its carryover value and its presence on the board.
Now,
but he's going to lock him out of being able to mulligan away the Siri, which is definitely a little awkward for him.
Oh, and he draws another Seleno Harpy. Oh no, I think he's going to get muscle here.
Mago's hand is not looking good.
No. And it was looking like good for him because realistically, Bitsy just used all of his power in round 1, but I don't know if is that fog. No, I don't know. That's not enough. Is it?
Yeah, it is. The fog summons a bunch of foglets. I think that does it. I think Mago has it. I mean, the Asir is effectively worth a 15-point play. So Siri is 12 right now, and Para is a flat 6, putting Bitsy's total at 34. Mago has the fog. He has to use it early. It's summoning 5 foglets and ticking for 3 turns. He's got to fog the Asir now. Summons the 5 foglets, ticking for 3 turns. 3 turns takes 34 down to 28.
Yep, he's got him. Yep.
Mago's down 1 point, I think. Bitsy wins by 1 point.
That math.
It doesn't matter where the roach goes at all.
Wait, are you sure?
Yeah, it's 1 point. Bitsy's got him.
Yeah, Bitsy. Yeah, okay. There we go.
Man, that was really close.
Wow.
Oh, Mago was really looking for his Yennefer in those last moments. He almost got a little bit robbed. He really needed his Yennefer. He had several turns to draw her at the end and just couldn't find her. But at the end, it still came down to a single point. So here we find Bitsy's Dagon versus Mago's Skellige. And again, it's all about Savage Bears. It's the name of the game. Yeah. Savage Bears. Are we going to see them?
Of Bears. Bitsy dodging that 3-0 loss in the finals by 1 point in that prior game, and we see Mago's, his Skellige that is very emphasized on the carryover strength with double Shieldsmith and Old Geared and Morgvarg backed up by that Wallboard of the Sea that cannot be truly disrupted much at all in this matchup, can it? Like, it's going to have its way here. This is not Nilfgaard we're talking about.
It is going to be pretty strong. So we can see Mago's hand. He does have the bear, and like you said, the wild boar and the Olgierd in his crutch is pulling the Morkvarg as well. Very, very powerful carryover here.
The fact that he went first may have been a little bit beneficial for him, at least for this initial Seleno Harpy play, especially if he's going to play that Savage Bear turn 1. But it seems like he's not going to opt to do that just yet, which is interesting. Really thinking about it here. Like hovering over
entirely.
Croc.
I'm not sure why. The Savage Bear seems like a solid play here to me. There's no fog on the board or anything, but perhaps he doesn't want to take even 2 points to the fog, so he wants the Morkvarg developed first to be able to protect it. He might be scared of the Savage Bear dying to the 2-point fog, and then he tries to protect it, but then it dies to the 2 points from the Harpy or from anything else.
Yeah,
the
fog from the Wyvern. Yeah. Definitely. I like that. That's actually very, very preemptive on his behalf. Even though he takes a huge hit here onto the Morkvarg, and there's no Armor Smith in his hand, he's got the Shield Smith, and he definitely wants to make sure that Morkvarg sticks around for a little bit, because even though it will come back after it goes down, it does lose 3 base strength, and that's a big, that's a very important component of his strategy. And now he drops the Savage Bear there. That Savage Bear lost a lot of value, though, potentially.
It did lose some. I think he could have played it last turn, but I'm a little unsure on that. Savage Bear does immediately hit for 5 on those Harpies.
Just eats on the eggs, and then the Harpies hits him too.
Being able to hit spawned units is a hugely versatile thing for its toolkit. And now we've got the Wild Boar, the Stee, starting to buff up that Morkvarg. Now
Drowner can put in some work here, though. Drowner could potentially push that Morkvarg out of there.
He elects to use,
or he just goes to Hardener, though.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. I like that play.
So he wants to put the Hunter down because he wants the Wild Boar to be used on a unit whose strength matters. So he's going to have the Hunter hit that, give some additional Shield Maiden targets, although he didn't really need them at this point. Bitsy does have the Big Bear, but his hand is honestly a little bit awkward otherwise. We're going to have to see him use these Crones early if he wants to be able to force this round.
I think you can make a case for Drowner here to push away the Morkvarg Hunter as well, so it's not getting base strength and also buffing itself up, because it's getting 2 base strength each turn.
Absolutely.
So you want to push that guy away from there as soon as possible, but you have to go for the Fog instead to make sure that it can rack up the damage earlier on. But I think we're definitely going to see a Drowner from him, especially now. You have to Drowner now. Push that Hunter out of there immediately. You have to. There's no other play right now. You have to go for that because that guy is going to gain even more.
It's gaining not exactly 3 base strength per turn because the Fog is actually going to hit the Hunter first here, but it's definitely going to start to ramp up.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing him, and he's actually going to put in out of weather completely. He doesn't want it to buff. He's debating it though, but I think that's the play to go for here. You have to deny that.
It has to be, yeah.
That Roach in the hand paired with the Crone. That's kind of like the theme of today's event, actually.
After the bear, it's the bears and the Crones. So he is going to use the Drowner, presumably on the Hunter, pulling it out of there. Bear is still getting him a little bit of value, though. It's going to be 4 turns until it dies. Well, 3. Olgierd is there to absorb the Wild Boar buffs. Now, the Olgierd has, of course, huge synergy with the board because a lot of people are playing disruption tools, whether it's stuff that drags the Morkvarg out of the Wild Boar row or stuff that is put between the Morkvarg and the Wild Boar. And just having additional cards like Olgierd to be able to start soaking up those buffs when that happens is very valuable.
Gonna go for the rally here. Let's see what he pulls. No. And Archgriffin, not really what he was hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to if he wants to push this round, it's Crones or bust.
Yeah,
that's basically got to be it. And every turn he stays in this round, he's making himself a little weaker because the Wild Boar is just giving this value over time, and not even just the Wild Boar, but the fact that Mago is even playing these cards like Olgierd.
Blood-Killing Roar onto one of the eggs is a decent play. Unless I'm mistaken, that is a total of 14 strength.
Yes, 14.
So 14 strength.
Well, pretty good. Because the bear is going to hit 2 of them.
Oh, true.
Bear's 12. Dead. Bitsy has to do one more turn. He's
not going to have to clear the weather, though. He's going to let the bear go down here.
I mean, these Shieldsmiths have to force him out, right? There's no way he can stay in this round anymore. This has to be it. He has to just give it up here. I mean, even using Crones, there's just no value there. He's so far behind. And just doesn't have the tools.
Oh, boy.
Yep. And in the future rounds, he does have the Dagon, and he is going to be able to use the Roar on Harpies, but it's gonna be tricky. He needs to find these gold cards here, Bitsy. He needs to be able to find his Woodland Spirit and his Caretaker even more so.
Yeah, Caretaker is absolutely crucial in this matchup. It can really make the difference. As he's going to opt to go with the Bloodcurling Roar onto one of the Foglets, though, instead of the Egg. Really hoping that carryover strength can make the difference and not make him overly vulnerable, even though that Ogierd is getting bigger and bigger each turn. Mago having an 8 strength lead, definitely gonna have to play another card here if he wants to win this round. Gonna have to go with a Gremist, and we'll see if he opts to clear the Weather or actually go for the Bloodcurling Roar instead. He goes for the Bloodcurling Roar, capitalizing on the Shieldsmith there and getting a very strong swing in his favor. Gonna drop it in the middle on this range drill, most likely. And that's going to be another very strong swing in his favor. Like, the question is, like, as you said, Bitsy, at some point, he's going to have to either go with the Crones or just
I could see it on the melee row, honestly. Melee row makes, I think, a little more sense. You're not playing around like Coral or anything in this matchup, and Igni is already a significant threat at this point. The Ogierd and the Longship are lined up, so that Fog is always going to be hitting one unit.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point, actually. Like, the bear right there. It also sponges up the Fog as well. It makes sense.
There's just nothing for this. I mean, if he wants to stay in this round, if Bitsy wants to stay in this round, he has to, like, dig on Rain the range draw. That's his only way to stay in this round, I think. And
even then, it's not that big of a deal, because it buffs up the Hunter by 2, so it kind of like only deals
he's doing the
for
Crones first.
Oh, he's going for the Crones though. Oh, see, every single turn,
just gonna smack down that value.
Oh man, every single turn that he's invested this round, every single turn he's buffed like that. Wall of the Boar has gotten so much value. Yeah, that is nuts. I don't even know how big that Ogierd is at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, how much strength are we talking about here? Because he's got 6 himself.
I think it's a 9 at this point, right? It's coming back as a 9. Might be mistaken. Yeah, it's coming back as a 9.
Good call. 19 strength. Oh man, he needs to replace Roach immediately. He does have good draws there. Well, I don't know how good the Water Hag is at this point, but
the Water Hag's still solid. He just needs that Caretaker. I mean, but even so, it's still a rough game. Now here we are going to see the Royal Decree into Renew combo. So this pulls Wild Boar of the Sea if he wants. Or I mean there's no gold card to renew from the opponent, so it's Coral or Wild Boar. It's Wild Boar here.
Yeah. I mean, like, why not? That's the thing. Like, why the hell not? You don't have to win this round anyways. You may as well just invest into the next round. And oh man, this Wild Boar of the Sea just putting in the massive work. That carryover strength.
Yeah, I mean, Mago's Skellige deck is using very specifically Royal Decree. That's one of the most interesting things here. Royal Decree is a card that's quite easily dismissed as just kind of like a starter card or something that's dead too often. But especially when you take it to a deck that has a pretty low amount of draw power and really wants a core strategy, it can really, really enable the consistency of that deck. It's Royal Decree is absolutely a very underrated card, and Mago's deck is utilizing it really well.
Like, I was expecting more standard approaches from him, honestly. Like, seeing as he's so consistent, because I didn't know much of him as a player prior, right? And seeing not only this deck that is so emphasized, like, because not that many people run Wild Boar of the Sea because of what you guys mentioned on the ladder, it being vulnerable to Nilfgaard and such. Yeah. Not only him bringing this variant of Croc, which is more emphasized than others on the whole carryover strength aspect of it, but also his Calvate list with that unique but yet so efficient thinning with the Alchemist and the Darylin Foot Soldiers and focusing on Siri Dash and combined with Tibor and Borg, like such unique decks, but at the same time so efficient too. I'm very impressed by him. Like, not surprised that he's made it this far, and he's been so dominant in these set of games, like barely losing on the last one, and it seems like he's working for a very strong, like, he's working for a win here. He's working for a very powerful win.
He's going for it. I mean, if his deck is all about just committing, and he wants to be able to force this.
Here we go, baby. That's his last play. Gonna bump it up to 41. After the next, he'll lose 1 point only, so he's gonna be at 40 strength. He's definitely gonna be Bitsy's gonna be able to overcome this.
Melee.
Okay. he's gonna be able to overcome this, but
Didn't want the extra tick damage from Fog to be able to.
the question is, can he ping Morkvarg and still win with Dagon so that he gets a little bit of strength out of him? Is that possible or not?
I mean, he pings. No, I don't. It shouldn't be. I don't think it is.
Oh, because he has to in some way affect the third round. You know what I mean? If he wants to win this at this point.
But his caretaker, even like so his win condition here, Bitsy's win condition is top decking caretaker. But what does it represent? Caretaker represents a 16-point play, resing that Savage Bear, and it's very limited here.
There's no way that Wyvern Tiger targets the. I'm wondering. So definitely like because the Morkvarg would have come back at how much strength? It would have come back at 7, right?
Yes, 7. Correct.
Yeah. So it it would have been enough, perhaps, right? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not. I would have to look back on that honestly. Regardless, he didn't do it, which is what matters. And here we go, baby. Round 3. Will he get that caretaker? Will that caretaker even be close to enough?
The 7 strength and
oh my god, that
13.
ogre, that's disgusting.
The caretaker is not even enough against that board.
That's 30
just has
strength. Are
nothing
you
on
kidding
that
me?
board. There's no win condition there.
no luck for him though.
And wow.
And that is Freya.
That is game
That's
3
insulting.
of the finals. Game 3 of the finals goes to Mago with his Skellige deck, all in a build that a lot of people were using early on and most people stopped using. Very, very efficient, very, very good against the mirror, and his Daler and Foot Soldiers list. Mago is our TGO June champion.
Dominant performance by Mago. Very well done. Outstanding.
Beautifully
well
played.
deserved. Well deserved.